It was of recent erection, indeed almost new, and of the same rich red colour that formed such a contrast with the evergreens of the lodge. Far behind the corner of the house, which rose like a geranium bloom against the subdued colours around, stretched the soft azure landscape of the Chase, a truly venerable tract of forest land, one of the few remaining woodlands in England of undoubted primeval date, wherein druidical mistletoe was still found on aged oaks, and where enormous yew trees, not planted by the hand of man, grew as they had grown when they were pollarded for bows. All this sylvan antiquity, however, though visible from the slopes, was outside the immediate boundaries of the estate. Everything on this snug property was bright, thriving, and well kept. Acres of glass houses stretched down the inclines to the copses at their feet. Everything looked like money, like the last coin issued from the mint. The stables, partly screened by Austrian pines and evergreen oaks, and fitted with every late appliance, were as dignified as chapels of ease. On the extensive lawn stood an ornamental tent, its door being towards her. Simple Tess Durbeyfield stood at gaze, in a half-alarmed attitude on the edge of the gravel sweep. Her feet had brought her unto this point before she had quite realized where she was, and now all was contrary to her expectation. "I thought we were an old family, but this is all new," she said in her artlessness. She wished that she had not fallen in so readily with her mother's plans for claiming kin, and had endeavoured to arrange assistance nearer home. The d'Urbervilles, or Stoke d'Urbervilles, as they at first called themselves, who owned all this, were a somewhat unusual family to find in such an old-fashioned part of the country. Parson Tringham had spoken truly when he said that our shambling John Durbeyfield was the only really linear representative of the old d'Urberville family existing in the county, or near it. He might have added that he knew very well that the Stoke d'Urbervilles were no more d'Urbervilles of the true tree than he was himself. Yet it must be admitted that this family formed a very good stock whereupon to regraft a name which sadly wanted such renovation. When old Mr. Simon Stoke, latterly deceased, had made his fortune as an honest merchant, some said money-lender, in the north, he decided to settle as a countryman in the south of England, and in doing this he felt the necessity of recommencing with a name that would not too readily identify him with the smart tradesmen of the past, and that would be less commonplace than the original bald, stark words. Conning for an hour in the British Museum the pages of works devoted to extinct, half-extinct, obscured and ruined families appertaining to the quarter of England in which he proposed to settle, he considered that d'Urberville looked and sounded as well as any of them, and d'Urberville accordingly was annexed to his own name for himself and his heirs eternally. Yet he was not an extravagant-minded man in this, and in constructing his family tree on the new basis was duly reasonable in framing his intermarriages and aristocratic links, never inserting a single title above a rank of strict moderation. Of this work of imagination poor Tess and her parents were naturally in ignorance, much to their discomfiture. Indeed, the very possibility of such annexations were unknown to them, who supposed that, though to be well favoured might be the gift of fortune, a family name came by nature. Tess still stood hesitating like a bather about to make his plunge, hardly knowing whether to retreat or to persevere, when a figure came forth from the dark triangular door of the tent. It was that of a tall young man, smoking. He had an almost swarthy complexion, with full lips, badly moulded, though red and smooth, above which was a well-groomed black moustache with curled points, though his age could not be more than 3 or 4 and 20. Despite the touches of barbarism in his contours, there was a singular force in the gentleman's face, and in his bold rolling eye. "Well, my beauty, what can I do for you?" said he, coming forward; and perceiving that she stood quite confounded, "Never mind me. I'm Mr. d'Urberville. Have you come to see me or my mother?" This embodiment of a d'Urberville and a namesake differed even more from what Tess had expected than the house and grounds had differed. She had dreamed of an aged and dignified face, the sublimation of all the d'Urberville lineaments, furrowed with incarnate memories, representing in hieroglyphic the centuries of her families and England's history. But she screwed herself up to the work in hand, since she could not get out of it, and answered, "I came to see your mother, sir." "I am afraid you cannot see her. She is an invalid," replied the present representative of the spurious house, for this was Mr. Alec, the only son of the lately deceased gentleman. "Cannot I answer your purpose? What is the business you wish to see her about?" "It isn't business. It is—I can hardly say what." "Pleasure?" "Oh, no. Why, sir, if I tell you it will seem—" Tess's sense of a certain ludicrousness in her errand was now so strong that, notwithstanding her awe of him, and her general discomfort at being there, her rosy lips curved towards a smile, much to the attraction of the swarthy Alexander. "It is so very foolish," she stammered. "I fear I cannot tell you." "Never mind. I like foolish things. Try again, my dear," said he kindly. "Mother asked me to come," Tess continued, "and indeed I was in the mind to do so myself likewise, but I did not think it would be like this. I came, sir, to tell you that we are of the same family as you." "Oh, poor relations?" "Yes." "Stokes?" "No, d'Urbervilles." "Ay, ay. I mean d'Urbervilles." "Our names are worn away to Durbeyfield, but we have several proofs that we're d'Urbervilles. Antiquarians hold we are, and we have an old seal, marked with a ramping lion on a shield, and a castle over him, and we have a very old silver spoon, round in the bowl like a little ladle, and marked with the same castle. It is so worn that my mother uses it to stir the pea soup." "A castle argent is certainly my crest," said he blandly, "and my arms are lion rampant." "And so mother said we ought to make ourselves be known to you, as we've lost our horse by a bad accident, and are the oldest branch of the family." "Very kind of your mother, I'm sure, and I, for one, don't regret her step." Alec looked at Tess as he spoke in a way that made her blush a little. "And so, my pretty girl, you've come on a friendly visit to us, as relations?" "I suppose I have," faltered Tess, looking uncomfortable again. "Well, there's no harm in it. Where do you live? What are you?" She gave him brief particulars, and responding to further inquiries, told him that she was intending to go back by the same carrier who had brought her. "It is a long while before he returns past Trantridge Cross. Supposing we walk round the grounds to pass the time, my pretty coz?"